Hello everyone. So this is a tutorial that we have made online, and this tutorial has been put up on the puzzle server. This tutorial will dwell upon making a web server on any mobile device. Now this can be a Symbian phone or also an Android, and in some cases iOS, but we won't be dwelling on iOS here. The two main technologies that we will be concerned with will be Symbian and Android phone. And we went ahead and made a web server that runs on an Android system. We couldn't find a Symbian phone, so we did our demos on the Android system, videos of which will be posted later. So let me go ahead and introduce to you an AMP development stack, or PAMP in some cases. An AMP development stack is nothing but a set of softwares or components that you're going to get that which runs on a mobile phone and provides the following features. So it's named AMP because it has Apache web server with PHP as a script and MySQL as the backend. So a website will consist of a web server, a database, and a programming languages. Now all these components are packaged and sent in the form of AMP, and these can be installed on a mobile device that will help us to host a website. It allows people to edit their own pages, get values from the database, and also provide some services. The services part, we haven't dwelled too much on the services part, but we will show you what we can do with a website that's on a server that can be moved anywhere. So let's move ahead with the platforms that it works on, and these are some of them. Now you are aware of the Symbian S60. So initially they had started using AMP on S60 phones, but now they are using on Symbian 8. The apps that are available can be downloaded manually. Now you do not have a Google Play Store for them, so you want to do the installation and downloading manually from a jar file. And the installation is pretty simple. The admin of the development stack is the owner itself, so he can make all the editing he wants to. Similarly, on the Android platform, it's going to be an app that has been zipped up properly, and then you're going to find it on the Google Play Store. So the platform that we chose was version 19, which is the most stable one. That would be 4.1.2, but we haven't found apps yet for Lollipop and version 21. So and the installation is quite simple. Just download from the Google Play Store. Use the free version initially to get a feel of the app before you can go for the payable one, which will give you some extra resources. And the advantages are it's very easy to install, and the admin and the guy who owns the device is the admin by default. Having said that, so these are the two platforms on which it runs. We will try to implement it on an iOS system, but we do not have any system to test it out. Now we are going to show you how the stack is. So basically, the architecture would of any phone would be uh, in this fashion. It would have an application layer where you're going to run your softwares. It's going to have a platform here on which, like an operating system, say Android and Symbian, or the versions of those operating systems, and then you're going to the hardware layer. The hardware layer is very essential, as it provides a set of subroutines that would communicate with the server. uh, Say on a Wi-Fi system, it's going to communicate with the server and the Wi-Fi system, and register your IP address, the local IP address, for other phones to access it. Now, AMP on a Symbian phone would look something like this. As you know, we use OpenC language to communicate with the Symbian phone. AMP stack would be sitting on this platform, which would then use OpenSea to make system calls to Symbian. Uh, and your personal website would then reside on one of the public folders that AMStack uses to publish. It is very, very simple. The architecture is very simple, but it lacks security, and there's not much that a user can do uh, when it comes to flexibility. He might have to do certain system calls to Symbian that would have to go through PHP and Apache, which then brings in a steep learning curve. But whereas now some papers try to make it more easier by introducing a virtual layer of Drupal. Drupal is an open source website designing software that you can use, and it's also a content management system that you can use uh, to develop your websites and have certain variables taken care by Drupal itself. So having said that, your mobile website would then be on Drupal. Drupal would then take care of the system calls that were to be made through Apache, through Symbian, and then, yes, through OpenSea, that is usual. But then it boasts of better flexibility, and it also enforces MVC. Now, enforcing MVC would see to it that the website is well structured, it can be edited easily, re-engineering is possible, and you can make system calls that are easily routed to the to MySQL databases, and also it provides some packages for security. Drupal is quite a system that you can go for to develop a web server on website on a mobile phone. Now this is what a Drupal would essentially look like on the admin console. This admin console can be accessed via a laptop or a computer that's on the net, and you can access the console, which will give you a set of properties that you can play around with, and you have some certain set of tools. It makes application development pretty simple. So now we went out and we made our own development. We made our own website on the development stack. Here we used Android PHP. This is a free software. We do not want to invest too much on paid software, so we used Android PHP. It's open source free app that provides PHP and MySQL. That basically what you require for a very very small website. So we go ahead and we switch it on. That gives us two IP addresses that we can use to access the server. This is the file system, uh, which is pretty simple. You're going to get a www folder in which you're going to put all your files, and these would be images, index files, HTML or PHP files, and the server will then load these files from this folder itself. It makes development very easy, but yes, uh, it does not enforce MVC, as you can see here. So pretty simple, but not recommended. And these are the results that we got um, from the server, the index.html, which then calls show.php page. And similarly, there's another PHP page that we use to display images, array through the images. And finally, the PHP my admin. And links of these are provided here. Now, these links won't work right now because the the web server on the phone has been turned off. But if you can turn it on, as shown in the video later, then you can access these files uh, via these addresses. So now this is essentially what it looks like. Uh, so you're gonna have Drupal, Python, PHP, sometimes Python too, and these are stacked together on a LAMP or an AMP, or also a PAMP server with MySQL as the backend, and these services are then given to the user via an Apache HTTP server. So this is how it looks, and we have the breakdown of what each technology does and its contribution in this scenario. We also found out 2 to 3 apps that are free to test with, and these apps are provided by Google Play services for Android itself. We have tried these out, and these are our comments. Some pros, some cons for both of them, but this one would be the much easier one to try on before you can go on to CMS, which is a little more non-trivial. And finally, we come back to our references. These are certain papers that we have used. Now, none of them have any code whatsoever because we are not building a server from the scratch. But then these papers talk about better content management system uh, by introducing Drupal. One of them talks about open source development stack on the Symbian-based phones, and the other one talks about the framework. And these are some of the websites that we've used. Now, some of these websites were used to get images, whereas we've used references for these apps. So this is our tutorial for mobile web server, and we have dwelled into what it takes to make a web server. You'll find the demo videos of how we built it um, in the YouTube URL that we'll be providing later. Thank you.